Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Honorable Prof. Dr. Nurlida Abu Qasim, Director, IIUM Press and the Conference Chair, our distinguished speaker, Dr. Saleh Mubarak Baziat, CEO Nama Foundation, our colleagues from IIC, Setiabudi, school teachers, lecturers, brothers and sisters. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, welcome to the fourth keynote session, day 2, International Conference on Humanizing Education. So today we are so grateful to have Dr. Saleh Mubarak Baziat, the Chief Executive Officer, Nama Foundation. But before I invite him to deliver his keynote speech, let me take this opportunity to introduce him. Dr. Saleh is a philanthropist, a strategist, as well as an analyst who embraces the principles of exemplary leaders. He is also a contributor to social development and a change maker, especially for youth development. He enjoys his tour of duty in charity works and moments in volunteerism. Besides being a true believer in influencing positive change through social entrepreneurship and sustainable development initiatives, Dr. Saleh is a strategic thinker, a visionary leader, an avid promoter of avant-garde and innovative ventures in education and social development. As for Nama Foundation, it is a non-profit company registered in 2004 in Malaysia. Nama is an international grant provider and vision to become the leader in grants for sustainable development. They believe that they can achieve the aspiration by empowering both the education sector and capacity building of civil society, focusing on youth development and volunteerism. So I believe that everyone can't wait anymore to listen to Dr. Saleh Baziat. With that, I would like to invite Dr. Saleh to deliver his speech. Please welcome, Doctor.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته and good afternoon. I think my sister made maybe big introductions which maybe I don't deserve, so she maybe have increased the expectations. Anyway, I think my words today will be with you a sort of like sharing notes, rather than like something very in depth, because the time will not be at our side. As my dear sister just mentioned that today I will cover on empowering education for children in need, for equitable society and global sustainability, the role of governments and the global community. There are few, actually, not few, many keywords there, right? We have global community, we have governments, we have sustainability, we have the need, we have society, education, empowerment, children. So I believe every single word of the above requires, I think, a dedicated lecture for that. However, we'll try our best to touch upon slightly, inshallah. As you are all aware, that education is a fundamental, actually, human right and a key driver for equitable and sustainable development. It empowers individuals as well as communities to reach their full potential and contribute to the common good. However, millions of children around the world still lack access to quality education, especially those living in poverty, conflict zones, affected areas, and marginalized communities. And as per the data shows, unfortunately, in some countries, there's a huge lack actually of access to education, either public education or higher education. And some of those who access education actually don't access quality education. They just only access education. Some are poor education, some like average education, with around 800 million to 900 million students worldwide who are at schools, universities, kindergartens, and so on. We have almost 25% of them actually at university levels. Around 235 million students study at universities, but how many of them actually receive quality education in those universities? That's the questions. That's why we still face high level of unemployment worldwide, despite of having a high graduation rate of universities. It means some of the reasons behind low rate of employment is due to the low quality graduation or low quality outcome of the educational institutions. With that, actually pushed many students actually to look for quality education outside their home countries, with around nowadays 6.4 million students actually worldwide don't study at their homes. They study in different countries. Example, we have few hundreds in Malaysia, another few hundreds in other countries. So 6.4 million students actually study abroad is a big number. But at the same time, it is not a good sign that people are escaping their countries for other countries to receive quality education. And this actually plays the big role for the government's contributions and government's actually commitment to contribute to enhancing the quality of higher education in the education systems in general. And when it comes to education, in fact, there are many stakeholders who have to contribute and who have to share the responsibility, collective responsibility in enhancing the quality of education, either at schools or at universities, starting with the governments, ministries of education, ending with the schools, students, teachers, parents, NGOs, society, and so on. So the role of the government actually is a very vital and very important role in providing access to higher education, access to education in general, providing quality education, and at the same time investing in education, allocating the required budgets, as well as providing and make sure the right education policies in place, the right rules, laws, acts, and so on in place, so they can meet the expectations and match the needs of 21st century requirements. And the rules of education actually, I will say the role of the governments actually worldwide varies from different country to another country. Some countries are not playing very significant role, some due to the, let's say, political system, the social structure of that country, and some countries actually is because of lack of allocations, especially in those poor countries, which requires the NGOs actually to chip in. Okay, so now the role of the global community to contribute to humanizing the education, actually through a few areas. And we as a grant maker organizations, we do work directly in this, so we can understand what we do and what we expect other NGOs also to do. Normally, people, when they look at NGOs, actually, they look for funding, right? But I believe a lot of NGOs, due to the vast experience working in the societies, I think they can provide something more important than only funding in terms of expertise, experiences, as well as successful practices, right? Being working in schools, universities, and so on. And they have been aligned and, working together closely with the local communities at primary level, secondary level, university level, as well as postgrad level. So I believe they can contribute. So it's very, very important for governments, for education institutions, for expertise, actually policymakers, to invite NGOs, expertise, consultants actually, to contribute to the inputs actually to enhance and improve the education systems in those countries. Of course, providing financial and technical assistance to developing countries to support their education system is very important. But in the same time, promoting policies and programs that support equitable and inclusive education is very important. Advocating for the rights of children to education, especially those who are marginalized and disadvantaged actually in some countries. Some of the data actually are worrying that coming from some countries, because we actually do conduct a lot of research and assessments. Example, in some of the countries that where we operate in, we find access to general education, primary and secondary education is very high. And some countries, let's say, reach 80%, 85%. However, when it comes to higher education, we find the percentage actually drops from 85% to only 8 or 9%, which is very worrying, right? So this actually requires, it's like very huge gap, and that cannot be addressed only by NGOs. It requires, I believe, all stakeholders, starting with the governments, NGOs, private sector also to chip in, policymakers. It requires a lot of collaboration so we can study the real reasons actually behind the very low enrollment rate at higher education, so we can address them. At the same time, when it comes to access to higher education, sometimes if we go more in depth to analyze the reasons why students are not going to university, we find it too many reasons. One of the main reasons is the financial assistance. People cannot afford actually to pay fees, because in many countries, education is not free. Other actually reasons are residing in the area of awareness. Families, actually, some of the families have lost confidence in education, because if they educate their and support their children to study, let's say the elder children, right, to study, and when they graduate and they don't find jobs actually, so they feel less motivated to support the remaining students, kids to go to, because they know the results, will be the same. So they said, they believe or they feel there's no point for us to sponsor them and to support them to study. Some people believe in early work for kids actually, to start working before, they go to university. And there are many reasons behind this, unfortunately. Key strategies for empowering education for children in need is very, very important, because also in some countries, when we go to analyze the higher education, access to higher education, if let's say 80% of, let's say, school leavers go to higher education, or in another country, for example, the enrollment rate at high school level is around 92%, but the access to a university level is around 26% only. Very clear drop out. And the reasons to some of it, actually, if I go and analyze the 26%, I find 75% to 80% out of those, actually, 26% are coming from the middle up class. And only middle down is only 25%. Which again means, and in many countries, especially in the developing countries, the vast majority of the people actually are not middle up, is middle down, right? So means actually they are even they lose a lot comparing to the middle up, right? Students, because they cannot afford to go to universities. And there are few strategies, I believe, that can be used to empower education for children in need, including investing in early childhood education. So, ECE is essential for laying the foundation for lifelong learning. It helps children to develop the cognitive, social, and emotional skills they need to succeed in school and in life. People normally, the love to education, the love to the school start from the beginning. So if we manage to instill and infuse in our kids, to love school from early stage, kindergarten, primary school, I think the high potential or more possibility, right, for them to continue. So it's difficult sometimes, and some schools actually, unfortunately, rules, regulations, sometimes practices, attitudes of teachers, and headmasters actually make students actually escape the school, not make them, love the school. So I believe this kind of attitudes are very, very important to infuse the love and the like of the education in the students. Ensuring that all children have access to primary and secondary education. Primary and secondary education are essential for providing children with the knowledge and skills they need to live productive and fulfilling their lives. Also promoting inclusive education. Inclusive education means that all children, regardless of their abilities or backgrounds, have the opportunity to learn together in mainstream schools. So all people have access to education, regardless of their background, their color, their religion, race, language, and so on. It's very, very important. Supporting quality teacher training and professional development. Teachers play a vital role in ensuring that all children have access to quality education. Governments and the global community should invest in teacher training and professional development programs to ensure that teachers have the skills and knowledge they need to be effective. Because if the teacher is not competent enough, he will not deliver well, unfortunately. So promoting policies and programs that support equitable and inclusive education is important. Advocating for the rights of children to receive good education, and key strategies for empowering education for children in need as well. In the same time, also, as I said, investing in early childhood, ensuring universal primary and secondary education for brighter future, fostering inclusive education, and ensuring all children, regardless of their abilities, as I mentioned, and enhancing teacher training, and not only teacher training, I think all schools stakeholder as well. And this will come when we should the light on what we do in NAMA Foundation in those countries, inshallah. So these are some of the government's rules that they need to do in order for them to support and enhance the quality of education. As we said, offer free, affordable textbooks, for example, recruit and train more qualified teachers, rules investment in early childhood, build and maintain safe and supportive learning environments, enforce inclusive education policies, and so on. Work with communities to ensure that all children enroll in schools and stay in school, not only enroll in school, but also stay in school. And the global community rule to support developing countries' education systems for financial and technical, champion children education rights, especially for the marginalized, global cooperation for quality education access, promote policies and programs that support equitable and inclusive education, and backing NGOs in enhancing education for underprivileged children as well. So now I will shed the light on what we do in NAMA Foundation. In NAMA Foundation, actually, in education, back in 2019, we conducted a scientific research and assessment. And we found that the issue of education in the countries where we operate in, actually we work only in 3 countries, Tanzania, Indonesia, and Kyrgyzstan. We identified, I think, 6 to 7 reasons why there's lack of quality education in those schools, in those countries. One was the competent teachers. Second, the student. Third, the school leader. Fourth, the school parents. The students' parents. Five, the good governance and management sustainability of the schools. Six was the learning environment, facility supportive, tools. And with that, we identified, I think, around 100 institutions that we work with to contribute. Because as an NGO, we can't cover thousands of schools, right? And millions of students. So at our level, we managed to address a number of schools so we can make like a sort of role model that can be replicated and applied to other schools. And we developed our interventions. With that, we developed a few programs. One is we called Roots, and that program was like a training program for the teachers to enhance the competencies of the teachers and skills, mainly in 4 areas: coaching, learning, mentoring, facilitation, as well as gamifications. And we managed in the last 3 to 4 years to train around 7,000 plus educators in those countries. Second program was EduLead, and that is actually addressing the issues of the school leaders, actually, whereby we managed to train around 500 school leaders. And what we mean by training is not like a sort of touch and go or one time off. No, it's like lifelong kind of training that lasted for around 4 to 5 years on daily basis, training, capacity building, practicing, coaching, mentoring, and so on, as well as many assignments. Second was also school management, whereby this to enhance the good governance of the schools, HR, students in enrollment. I mean, like a sort of school system, how to manage the school digitally. So everything should go a sort of online. Fourth one was the school improvement. So for the first one, I think we managed to improve around 45 schools in the area of good governance or the school management system. For the school improvement, we managed to benefit around 93 schools, whereby we provided them with a sort of hardware kind of support. Let's say science laboratories, equipments, tables, chairs, projectors, data shows, and stationaries, and so on. In the same time, also we developed a program called Bright, and this is to upskill the students of the schools. How we invest in the students while they are still in school, how they can plan for their life, how they can identify lifelong plans, how they can identify what they want to become when they leave the school for university, how to choose the courses, and so on. Also, we have a program called ACT. This ACT actually how to instill the social entrepreneurship in the students, how the students can be like a sort, they can have the social mindset while they are still at school. Alhamdulillah, most of our schools are boarding schools, so we had enough time to work closely with the students, whereby we also identified and trained and developed our mentors, full-time mentors who work with the students, 24/7. And we have a program also called NAMA Fund. And this program actually is to provide education financing or financial support for those 93 schools leavers to go to the university. And alhamdulillah, we have around now more than 3,000 active students studying in around 25 countries worldwide, across 180 plus universities. Some of them in Malaysia, and alhamdulillah, even in IIUM here with us today. And NAMA involvement and interventions. We also have another program we call Parent School. Another program, because in our assessment, what we found actually you cannot have a quality education without buying the support of the parents. And there was like a gap, between the school and the parents. So the parents actually don't know what their kids actually studying at school. The teachers actually don't know what the students actually do after they leave the school at home. So we provide like a sort of platform whereby the parents and the school teachers, leaders can meet and, conduct a sort of involvement, engagement activities so they can collaborate. and it was well received. So in conclusion, tackling education inequalities at its roots, promoting equitable and sustainable access, investing in education for a brighter future are the key takeaways for us if you want to provide a quality education, or what we call it, humanizing the education to our kids. With that, I think I will stop here. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Saleh. I would like to open the floor for any question. Maybe 2-3 questions from the floor, from the audience.
Please.
Yes, sister.
Actually, when it comes to countries, actually, we do work based on a 5-year strategic plan. Every 5 years, we conduct a sort of thorough study assessment, legal, social, economic, and education, and we identify our countries, and we work in those countries for 5 years. Then we can change to another another countries in the next 5 years. Depends, or we can renew. And for the schools, there's like a sort of long list of criteria. For example, now we work with around 93 schools, right? But I think those schools who have applied to work with us are hundreds of schools. But our team actually developed like a sort of criteria set, rubric, whereby we select the schools based on those. In terms of, one of the things actually are the need of the school. Second, the school should be a sort of non-profit school, because we as an NGO, we don't want to support private schools, for example, right? At the same time, commitment of the school and willingness of people, because we are going to invest a lot in those schools. Our interventions are not like one time off. Normally, those schools which we work with, actually, we have been working with for the last 5 years. Every school receives the same support every year for the last 5 years. So the commitment from the school is very, very important, and the cooperation. So it's not like one-way work. It has to be collective responsibility. I think that was one of the main factors for us to decide which schools we should work with.
Okay, any more question from the audience? Prof. Ainul?
I think leadership is very important, and to combine it with the teacher. I think you have a good leader in the school and a good teacher, I think you solve almost 80% of the problems. But I think it all resides with the committed leadership as well as competent teacher. Is very important. These are goes together. I believe so. Wallahi, actually, we decided this actually before we start even. We made sure that we always work with those who are committed and those who will be like responsive to us, right? But despite of that, actually, along the way, some people get tired, right? And start to slow down. But we are satisfied with our outcomes. But I can't say all teachers or leaders or schools actually has been committed 100%. There's also, ups and downs sometimes. One of the interesting actually things that we faced actually out after 1 or 2 years of kind of training these capacity building programs, actually, we found some turnover in our schools. The turnover, especially of the teachers and leaders. Why? Those teachers became more competent. those became more competent. So they have been attracted by other schools, with additional, better pay. We had that kind of cases, For me, it's like a sort of, I'm losing them, but at the same time, it's like also a good sign. This, my program was impactful to the extent that, my teacher has been attracted by other, good schools or international schools in those countries. Yeah, please, 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 please. Yeah. Well, I think I'm not in a position to advise. I'm in a position maybe to receive advice from your side. But I believe if you don't have anything to offer in terms of competencies, skills, even though I do know everyone should have anything, have something to offer, at least, that can make difference. You teach with heart. Teach from your heart. And consider this like a job as a mission, not as like a source of income. And in our religion, teacher, has been has been placed in a very high level, right? Because he's like a sort of da'i, he's a sort of, preach, he's a, because I believe teacher has a very strong position to influence others. When it goes to schools, especially primary schools, secondary schools, I believe our kids actually spend more time with the teacher than with us, right? So just imagine who will influence the child more, the parent or the teacher. Of course, with those they spend more time with, right? So just imagine if I have like a very unique, excellent teacher, how good change that can be. Because nowadays, I believe, dear brothers and sisters, we don't have a problem with the quantity of school leavers, school, access to schools or universities. There's a problem with the quality. There's a problem with the quality. So better we focus on, let's say, small number, but we get them a very good education. Rather than just to give, let's say, big education, let's say a lot of education, but with poor quality and to a large number of kids. I believe we have to be selective. We have to focus more on quality rather than on the quantity. This is in the eyes of, let's say, NGOs, private sector, and so on. But of course, should not be the way for the governments, because the government actually, the mandate is for the government to teach all kids, right? It's like a sort of national responsibility for the governments. But I believe for institutions such as education, schools, let's say, or universities, NGOs, they don't have enough resources. They don't have enough manpower. They don't have a lot of. They lack a lot of things, right? So I believe they can work based on 80-20%. They can work with their 20% resources, but to have an 80% impact. I believe that's because I believe nowadays we do have a lack of good leadership at all levels. So I think investing with that kind of mindset, we can produce good leaders who can make a good impact, inshallah, tomorrow. That's my little tips, Yeah, thank you. Please. Mm. Okay. I think Cisco, let me start with the second question. Cisco, I believe, is under OIC, right? So it's like a sort of public organization. They have their own mandate. So, which I believe we cannot be compared with. We can compare ourselves with them in the area of what we do. Or we both work in education, But I believe what we do is something different in terms of scale, as well as in terms of interventions. Because also we don't work, we work with the OIC member countries, and some of our countries actually are not OIC member countries. We work, Tanzania is not OIC member, but Kyrgyzstan, Indonesia, yes. So I think not necessarily 100%. What we do is like what they do. So what was the first question? Uh-huh. Okay. Great. Okay. No, I believe our mandate is to work with all people in need, regardless, as I said, of their background, religion, language, color, whatsoever. However, it happens that the majority, I think, of our beneficiaries are Muslims, not because we have selected them because they are Muslims. It happened that they are the marginalized, unfortunately, comparing to other races. But we do have Muslims and Christians and non-Muslims and Indians, I mean Hindus and so on. We do have all type of because we believe when we talk about humanizing education, we should not put restrictions to this. Everyone, I mean, as he's a human, he has the right to benefit. He has the right to good to access to education. Yeah, please.
I want my colleagues from IIC to hear this. Okay, so you have here in the audience the deans, and also where is Sister Wan Zainira? Yes, the Deputy CEO of the International Islamic College. So it is our sister institution, the university. They are a private college, so they offer TVET programs. They also offer diploma level programs. So a number of programs. So is there any way that they can collaborate with you in countries like Kazakhstan and Tanzania or other countries where they can probably set up an NGO private collaboration on TVET, or because I think TVET are skill based, so probably along those lines, so that's my question.
Thank you. That's a good questions, and we have been doing it, by the way, for some time, and I believe we are open for any kind of suggestions, or just we need to explore what they have and what we have, because we have been doing some collaboration with some universities in Malaysia and outside Malaysia, including IIUM, by the way. That's why we have some students here. And sometimes also we have like a sort of exchange programs whereby some of the university staff go to the countries to do something collaboration with local universities there. I think very possible to that, inshallah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Saleh, for a very informative and inspiring speech. Okay, and before I invite Prof. Dr. Nurlida to deliver the token of appreciation, I would like to make an announcement to everyone that actually Nama Foundation has given some sponsorship for this conference. Thank you very much, Dr. Saleh, and to Nama Foundation. Okay, and with that, I would like to invite Prof. Dr. Nurlida to deliver a token of appreciation to Dr. Saleh. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oh, nak. Orang 4 orang je. Nak ni MC nanti, MC siapa? Ha? Mampu lagi tu. Ah.
Okay, we are still waiting for our speaker to get online. So while we wait, maybe we can start with 5 first. Okay, all right. So mana kita punya tu? Mangkuk tu. Kita jemputlah Sister Wan. Sok cabut. Nombor bertuah. Bila dah dapat buku tak boleh balik tau. Kena janji siap-siap. Oh, ambil juga. Okey. Dr. Su ambil? Oh. Okay. Alright. Nombor?
Nombor pertama 15. 15. Oh. CP. Ada? Tak ada. Ada.
Macam mana boleh tak ada?
Banyak lagi dalam ni.
Okay.
Next number 25. 25. Itu mesti CP juga tu.
Tak ada juga.
Alah, tak ada.
CP.
Tak ada rezeki. Oh, ada. Ranita.
Okay, so kita letak kat sini, kita bagi you pilih. Rather than for us to give you a book that you may not want to read, so we let you choose. Boleh. Tunjuk. Okay. Alright, next number.
Number 2 dah lepas. Okay, next number 16. 16. Alah, CP lagi. Ni lagi.
You can choose. Next. Okay. Oh, so this is a popular book. Okay, tak apa. Ni kena share dengan okay. Alright. Ni kita dah bagi 2 kan?
Bagi 2.
Kita lagi 3. Tak apa. Kita dah bagi 5.
Okay, next number 02. Number 2.
Wah. Yolah, saya ada bookstore. I dapat 40% discount. Fresh lah. Tanya awak. Lepas tu belah sini pula. Wah, buku ni nampak raya ni macam nak habis dah. Okay.
Sudah
Dah
3.
3
Dah 3.
Okay.
Okay, next 42. 42.
Ada.
Ada? Tak ada.
Yeah.
Next 52. 52. Tak ada juga.
Tak ada juga. But more than what you get. Ada.
Ada. Lepas tu.
Yeah.
Lepas tu.
Okay. Evidence. Oh, tak. Sila. This book, The Malay Concept of Sejahtera, it was written by almarhum Prof. Kamal. Yeah. Okay. Habis dah 5 kan? Okay. Kita tengok kita punya apa dah ada ke belum? Oh. Belum keluar lagi. Okay, so mungkin kita continue another 5. Boleh? Kita panggil. Yang ni kita nak panggil. Ada yang jaga registration, ada yang jadi MC. Tapi yang ini dia jaga 2 hari. Kutip kupon untuk makan. Please. Untuk yang tak tahu kan, Puan Nabila is actually Dean of the Law Ya, dekat IIC. So semua dekan-dekan kita turun padang, Alhamdulillah. Mari. Kat sini lah kita tak dengar.
29.
Oh, dah. Dia nombor 30. Dia punya nombor 30. Dia panggil 29. Okay. Yes. Evidence. Okay. So kita tangkap gambar. Okay. Okay. Okay, next. Oh. Okay, another one. Lepas tu kita panggil Aziz pula.
Alright.
Jangan ambil 30 dah. You want to
Is it 9?
09. 60.
60 was 09.
Cuba tanya ada 09 ke 60?
60. That's my number.
Tak, this one. You're not quite sure whether this is 60 or 9.
9. I think it's 9.
9.
Number 9. Ada ke?
9 or 60?
Ada ke 60?
6. Sebab saya suruh buat sampai 60.
Oh.
60 atau 9? Ada 60? Yes. Oh ya ke? Saya lah. Dia pun dapat. Sama. Okay. Sila. Nak semua kalau boleh. Ambil tu. Okay. Kita tengok apa. Okay. Suhaila, you ambil satu pula. Okay, Suhaila, you satu. You cabut satu. Thank you, Nabila.
Terima kasih, Masya Allah.
03. 03.
Dah balik.
Oh, dah balik. Tak. Cari lagi satu.
Twenty-two.
Ada. Dah ada. Tangkap gambar dulu. Ya, dia pilih. Which one? Yes. You and your husband. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Saila. Aziz pula. Your turn untuk tarik ke cabut. Kita dah bagi berapa? 3 3. Mari. You nombor berapa?
48.
48, let's see.
40.
Oh. Ada belum? Betul. Sah. Sah. 40 sah. Okay, thank you. So one more, Vicky. May Vicky. Cabut. Ada lagi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ada 8 lagi.
Eleven.
Ada. Okay.
Thirty-seven.
Nombor berapa? 37. Sah, sah, sah. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Kita ada masa lagi kan? Belum lagi. Okay, kita jemput Cik Fatih pula. Ini committee members. Jangan, you punya nombor apa?
Nombor saya 47.
Okay.
Ada 47 lah. Kan? Alamak. Satu. 46. 46. Oh.
Okay. Awal. Okay. Sila.
Ada nak bahan dah tu. Kontak ni.
Terima kasih. Minta maaf, you tak dapat you simpan you punya nombor. Apa ni nama dia? Kita minta kita punya other collaborator, Dr. Zurina from Uniza. Fakulti Bahasa dan Komunikasi. So for your information, apa ni Dr. Zoe, you are the editor for Jonas, right? Yes. So she's the editor for Jonas Journal, so you want to get to know her.
17.
Lagi satu nanti Dr. Zoe. Oh, habis dah buku Dr. Kau nani. Okay, another one. Okay, what's your number?
44.
44.
Okay. This is 09. Just now 16.
Yeah.
09.
Tadi yang terbalik tu 60 kita dah bagi. Tak ada. Okay. Alright.
47.
Dapat juga Fatih. Okay. By one number, now he got it. Just now 46. He called up 46. Yes. Okay. Kita dengan Dr. Zul. Nanti bila submit artikel, tunjuk gambar. Thank you so much. So, our speaker is already online? Belum lagi? Dah ada kan? Belum lagi. Salah hari. Hmm.
Oh, dia tak edit kan?
I think we can call him. Let us call him on the phone. Voice call. Our speaker is still not online, so we still have saya nak jemput Dr. Mastura lah. Ambil satu, Dr. Hasniza, satu, Dr. Suraya, satu. Okay. Lepas tu, ada 4 kan? Lagi satu untuk Sister Nohayati. PA saya yang sangat setia. Okay.
38.
38 tak ada. Ada ke? Dr. Jurina. Bila? Ada dapat present bawa balik Yuniza. Ada 2. Terima kasih. So, Dr. Hasniza, your turn to pick the numbers. Kalau Dr. Umar tak apa, kita online saja. Ha. Dia pun dah dapat kan?
Okay. 43. 43. 43.
Tak ada.
Okay, next.
Okay, next. 24? 24? Ada? Ada? Ah. Kita baru cakap-cakap kan tadi? Banyak pilih. Itu ada 2 jodoh tu. Kalau ada 4. Okay. Okay, thank you Dr. Hasniza, Dr. Su.
Nak nombor berapa? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Tamania wa khamsun. 58.
Ini IC boleh buat library. Tak, ada lagi satu nanti. Terima kasih. Yati kan? Best for last. Ini special. Ini tangkap gambar, kena tangkap gambar dengan saya sekali. Come. Ya? Kat dalam almari saya tu ada banyak buku saya boleh jual.
27.
27. Wah, dapat juga. Mari kita tangkap gambar sama-sama. Ada satu je tinggal. Mari kita tangkap gambar sama-sama. Thank you. Okay, terima kasih banyak. I think what we'll do is that because I think the time difference and we didn't notify him, give him apa ni nama dia, few hours earlier. So probably he may have missed it, you know. But it will be streamed online. The live session is on. So nanti and it goes to the YouTube. So on our part, we will try to record. But I don't think we should hold you here, not knowing when the speaker is going to come online. You know, I personally will feel very bad about it. So I think what we can do is that we can end our conference here. But some of us committee, we will stay on and just make sure that, you know, if he comes online, we are here. Okay, so to moderate his session. So with that, I think I like to thank everyone for making time to be here, and I really hope that it has been a mind-opening conference for all, and we hope that, you know, actually our hope is that we can work more closely with NGOs, especially, and then also with each other. So this conference we actually co-organize with International Islamic College. We co-organize also with the Faculty Bahasa dan Komunikasi, the Faculty of Languages and Communication, UNIZA. We also with Mercy Malaysia, with Nama Foundation, and with the Kuliah of Architecture, you know, because we are having our program here with IIM Press. And of course, the main organizer is the Kuliah of Education. I would like to thank each and every one for your contribution. Okay, I think the conference is okay. I'm a bit shy to say successful, but I think Alhamdulillah we got through the 2 days. Okay, Alhamdulillah, I think the sessions were good. I find that the sessions were good, and I truly appreciate your participation. Okay, so I also had my student from coming because I said that the conference is open to everyone. Probably next year, inshallah, during the book launch, Datuk Sri Syed Hussein, he mentioned about having a global village. I'm not quite sure what's the name, but there is this village in the UK that is dedicated for books. All right, and they have like a book meet every year. So he suggested for IM Press to hold this event next year, and I've already spoken to the Dean of Education and also the Dean of Kuliah of Architecture to say that we can collaborate and hopefully have one next year, maybe sometime in June or July. So we invite other collaborators, our sister institution, IIC, and any other institution who are, interested to join us with this project, inshallah. So with that, thank you very much again, once again. I'm sorry, things are a little bit, sometimes a bit rushed, a bit last minute, because the Kuliah of Education actually struggling to get our audit because we're having an audit by SIRIM, starting tomorrow. But actually, the University Quality Assurance Unit only confirmed last Friday when the dates are. So we were told from the 6th to the 10th. So this is why we were not able to involve many lecturers and students from the Kuliah of Education. If we had known that the dates were tomorrow and the next day, we could have actually gotten the people to come in. So with that, thank you very much once again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Sila ke depan. Kita nak tangkap dekat sini. Kita ada backdrop kan? Yang conference punya.
Ya. Oh, ya. Dia tak boleh desktop. Check. Oh, ada.
You punya, dia punya. Come, Dr. Hash. Dengan Dr. Hash, kat apa? Komiti.
Takut, bro. Siapa yang nak standby tu?